Next on the Love You More Show.
I want to talk about if you're okay with it. Of course, this ain't like for clickbait. I just think it'll be special for people. Mm-hmm. Could you talk a little bit about your fertility journey?
You know, so I'm just going to throw it all out there.
Throw it.
But his family didn't like me. And
why?
My folks didn't like him. At first, you need to know that we've been through some things, okay? This is 19
hard.
years. We've been through some things.
Did they like the other girl?
His family, initially, mind you.
I don't care how much money you got, how many tangible items you got, how big your house is. If you walk in that house every day, you like, man, I don't like this person. I love him to death, but I don't like this person. Yeah. You're like, this ain't fun.
All right, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
Love you more.
Hey family, Willie Moore Jr. here. Excited about this moment because, it's all about love month. And I've been doing my best to introduce you to people that you know and then others that you may not know, but you get an opportunity to get to know, right? If you are new to this opportunity that I call the Love You More Show, notice I didn't say podcast. You know why? Because if you call it that, you get $100 fine. I'm going to put my Cash App in the description. So if you even say it when you're around your friends, your peers, or even in the break room, when you say, "Did you see the Love You More podcast?" Go on and drop $100 on my Cash App to make sure that you never do it again. We speaking those things that are not as though they were. Gonna be a big show all around the world. People from the north, south, east, and the west gonna watch, and we're gonna have a great time, as we always do. If you are new to the show, can I just say welcome and thank you? And then I'm not trying to insult you, but I don't want you to be a creep. You say, Willie, a creep? No, I'm just saying, like, if you gonna watch, you should probably like subscribe. And if you deem some of the information that you receive important and it touches you in your sha-na-na, do me a favor, just share it with somebody who you think needs it, okay? Today, I get the esteemed privilege to hang out with a couple.
You said workout. Yeah. I knew there was no working out happening.
She said ain't no workout happening. I'm hanging out with HGTV royalty. And I just found out Mike's last name because I've literally been calling him DJ Fidel for like 10 years now. And I wasn't even gonna ask. I was like, Mike in Egypt, but I know him as DJ Fidel. But Egypt and Mike are here, and you guys have been doing so good on HGTV. And I do watch you guys when I work out with no sound. I do. It's always in the gym.
It is. It's in all the gyms.
Yeah.
All the pediatrics, all the doctor's office, all the dentist's office. So we believe you. Always right there.
I'm like watching. I'm like, yo, they really on TV. I'm gonna text and just, you know what I mean? So before we get into this amazing conversation, because I really got to know how y'all work together, because in my former relationship, I was trying to work with her. By the time we get home, it was so much tension. I got to figure this part out. But I like to do an icebreaker. And the way I do the icebreaker is I do it with music. And so I want you to listen to this song. It's called Turning Point. Okay. And I want to know what that turning point was like for you guys when you decided, and we're going to go ahead and work together, not only on the back end, because you guys have been working together for years, but now we about to take it to the main screen. Yeah. Take a look at this video.
You know, when I left that church, my life had changed forever. I realized that moments quickly become memories. So it's important that you spend great moments with your loved ones because you just don't never know. Speaking of loved ones, I was getting picked up by one of my favorite but not so favorite uncles, Uncle G. I mean, he old school, drive a Cadillac, hat to the back, and he knock-kneed as hell, but he's still a good guy. He sometimes joke too quick, but the truth is, he's exactly what I needed during this time to bring me back to earth. He walks up, and he says, you all right, son? I'm like, it's tough. He continues, I know it, but it's a part of life. He says, don't worry about a thing, he's in a better place. That's true. You know I'm crazy, right? I don't know why they say in a better place, he in a box. But you see, I got you laughing already. Laughter is healing for the soul. No matter what it is, laugh it off. Keep laughter in your life no matter what you do, okay? Now get your punk ass in the car. What? Get your ass in the car, Junior. Wow.
See, a lot of people don't understand the game, you know what I'm saying? There's no stability in this, dog. All you living off of is a dream, you know what I'm saying? If people don't buy your music, you don't eat, man. So it do get hard for you sometimes, you heard me? I'm gonna tell you though, for real.
Steady striving for stardom, wanting fortune and fame. On my face I'm smiling, in my heart is pain.
I believe we all get tested, go through hell to get our blessings.
I promise at times I wanna break down.
No one understands me.
This time I'm going up, ain't going back down. precautions. Times is getting harder. Do what we gotta do to feed our sons and daughters. You wanted a survivor, then you got your one. You just told me to claim it, and that's all I done.
Living in my city street, nobody cares for me.
Oh, oh.
Somebody pray for me, cause I got a destiny.
Oh, oh, oh.
I'm just a man with a dream, striving for the finer things.
Oh, oh.
But this is my turning point.
I'm getting everything I want. The world on my shoulders, I realize I'm out.
Turning Point will be available really, really soon. Depending on when you watch this, if you like it, you feel it in your shine, or not, go download it if it's available. So the song talks about the turning point.
I'm sorry, I'm hooked right there on that.
I was just about to say, hit us with that.
Hey, come on. So really, I'm over here trying to get my record played, DJ Fidel. So if you can put that in your record pool.
I like that.
You might as well go ahead and put that on the airways, bro.
That
that's
was a little head bopper.
Okay,
And
good.
I
Coming from
saw you
y'all.
singing with the vibrato.
Yeah.
You were like,
I was feeling that thing. Listen.
Had a little Nate Dogg vibe to it too.
Yeah, so I got Tank on the in the background too.
that was
Yeah, so that was Tank. So that was
Okay.
Tank in the background. That's when his name was Darrell Babs back then. That's his real name. And I remember the invoice that was sent to me.
that's an old hook.
Yeah, it's an old hook that we did.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking of turning point because you guys have seemed to come to a really unique turning point. I've had the esteemed privilege to know your story of, how you all met and all of that. Some people may have, but I just remember you saying like a man that can work with his hands, like he's serious.
Yeah.
And I know that in your ventures, when you were just on television, you would be the contractor and do a lot of the stuff that was going on. But now the turning point is both of y'all in the public eye.
Right.
So
Right.
Right. So folks who really watch HGTV might remember Property Virgins or Flipping Virgins. When we were working on Flipping Virgins, I was the executive producer of that show, and it was a spinoff from Property Virgins. By the way, that was the worst name of a show that we could ever get. Flipping Virgins.
Listen.
Nobody's babies got hurt or nothing like that. But
I paused a few times, but it was,
it was the worst name of the show.
Yeah.
We were just trying to spin off from Property Virgins, obviously. But Mike and I were really flipping houses here in Atlanta. We originally pitched the show, and it was supposed to be following our journey flipping houses. But the powers that be at the time only saw me as the host and me as the talent working with other people. And so although it was, it was like a shot because we wanted to do it together. Right. He sacrificed and he was like, babe, if they see you doing it or they believe in you, you just do it. And I'll be working over here in the background. Every day that I showed up to film that show, I felt guilty because it was supposed to be an us thing.
Wow.
And they only saw it as a me thing, but he let me shine. He let me have that moment. But after that show, it was like, that's it. We can't let anybody else determine our future, our journey, or what our narrative is going to be. This is a family business. It's me, it's you. You're doing the construction. I'm doing the design and the real estate. Nobody believed that I was up there with that, with the sledgehammer anyway. This is crazy. The only way to really have your story told is if you tell it yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And so during the pandemic, Mike just started filming from his eyes.
Oh, you did?
He did it. He shot the sizzle reel for it.
Yeah. Just look, when there's no way, you create your own way, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we did. During the pandemic, everybody's in the house and we were already doing it, right? So why not just turn the camera on and capture the moments? So it was the home life, it was the school at the table life, it was the work life, it was the intimacy, the friendship, all of the above. And, we put a little sizzle together. The management team saw it, said there's something here, sent it up to the network. And the network was like, it's a no-brainer.
What was funny is this.
Wow.
What was funny is this. The network leadership at the time said, this is exactly what we have been needing. Why are we just seeing this? Egypt's been on our network for 13 years. Right. Why are we just seeing this? And for years, I used to tell the production company, turn the camera around. This is the real show back here. And, that's why we have to be creatives. Right. That's why we have to step up, and instead of just being hosts and talent, we have to step into the executive producer roles. We have to step into these creator roles because not everybody gets it.
Right.
They only are creating content based upon the world that they see. And sometimes that's with blinders on.
Right.
And they just couldn't see a happy, successful Black family doing well on HGTV, some people.
Right.
But meanwhile, when we got to the network's like, do you know how many tapes we've been digging through to find this dynamic?
Yeah.
Literally, it's here. We've got you. Let's go.
Wow.
And they actually then partnered us up with a different production company.
Right.
So they got on up out of there.
Yeah.
You didn't see it, you gotta go.
And you know who they partnered us with?
Who?
It's so interesting. The same production company that did T.I. and Tiny's Family Hustle.
Wow.
51 Mind Productions.
51 Minds. And it's a company that had never worked with HGTV before, never done content or, that sort of format. But they're like, they get Black people. They can tell a Black family story and tell it honestly.
Yeah.
And in, with us in the roles of executive producers, we knew that our journey would actually finally be seen on mainstream television.
And the reason why it also worked with 51 Minds, what made it gel so well is that they didn't come from the construction production side of things. They came from, shooting a TV show.
Storytelling.
Which worked.
Yeah.
Because for us, our show is more so, hey, there's this amazing family, there's these kids, there's this baby, there's this Black man, there's this Black girl, they have a business, and oh, by the way, they flip and renovate houses too. Yeah. So the renovation comes second, the story comes first. And that's what makes it work. For the majority of it, that's why folks are tuning in. When they see us on the street and they run into us at these stores, hey, the relatability, the transparency, you guys remind me of me. So that's why I tune in. And oh, by the way, you do some amazing work, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So the mesh of us working with 51 Minds was like, it's God's time, If
we ever tried to fit into someone else's vision for who we were, it would never work.
No.
Because people, we just know, we smell when something is not real, when it's phony, right?
Yeah, that's
you
real.
Can't relate to it as much. It doesn't speak to the heart. But because we could be our entire selves, Mike wears a do-rag on HGTV. Just know that.
I'm talking about them white women. Love Mike.
They love him.
Every time.
Right?
Y'all demo with, like now that I check the comments, it looks like a total rainbow of people. It is everybody watching. I do want to go back though, because you said with the former production company, the show was initially supposed to be both of you guys. And then as the man, you actually have to take a back seat to get to where you see your family is now. In this world right now, there are so many men who are dating women who are making more money. There, a lot of women are thriving now, doing a lot of great things. And men sometimes are very intimidated by strong, powerful women who are doing great things.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about the mindset and the heart posture that it took to support her in this journey that you were actually on, but just not accepted by that particular production company and network.
Right. Well, first and foremost, I really didn't care about who was accepting who, because even without the cameras, we're still one union, right? We're still one. So we were already in the process of working on what we have now. Without the cameras, this was going to happen, the real estate company, the construction company, and everything we have. Now, mindset wise, I got to be honest with you, I've always been in a place to where I'm like, if we're one and you're winning, we're winning, right? Now, there may have been days where I felt like, man, like, when are we going to do this together? And I honestly felt there were times where I knew there were certain projects that may not have taken off if I tried something or she tried something because it wasn't us together. So I had to come to realize that eventually when it's our time, it will be our time. That when I got into that space of thinking, when it's our time, it'll be our time, nothing else mattered.
That's good.
Nothing else mattered because if it was ordained, it was going to happen no matter what. So
it really was.
Let it just
I felt
be.
like God touched this particular journey for us.
That's good.
We had gotten into this space of, we were just in such a flow. And I know, for those of you who've been married, for those of you who've been married and divorced, you know when it's right and you know when it's wrong. You know when things go left and you know when you're in a flow.
Yes.
And we had just gotten into this lock and step flow where it didn't matter what was going on. We were loving hard. We were laughing hard. We had our own story. The tribe that's around us now is the same tribe. And it was like, anything on top is great. But Mike, we're good, aren't we? I remember we're going on a trip. Where were we? We were in Morocco.
Yes.
And we were hiking in the Atlas Mountains. Don't ask questions. This man gets me to do some crazy stuff. He got me to jump out of an airplane too.
Come on.
But we were hiking in the Atlas Mountains, just kind of taking inventory of our marriage at that time. I think we were approaching the 10-year mark.
How long is it now?
Almost 14,
19?
almost 15 years married and 19 years together.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we were taking inventory of just like how far we'd come, and we sat on the side of the hill, remember?
Yep.
Truly, because I was out of breath, like, what the hell? You ain't got me climbing the Atlas Mountain. We don't do that in Philly and Broad Albany, but okay.
Right.
So, and I asked him, and I said, if we got married, like if we were at the altar right now, would you say yes? Right now, with all that we've been through, do I still do it for you?
Yeah.
And he said, hell yeah. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then he said, what about me? And I was like, I choose you all day, every day. I don't care who's up in here. It's going to be you. You'll never have to doubt that. That felt good because he knew I was speaking from my heart. I knew he was speaking from his soul. And we were in just such a good place that I felt God could only continue to bless it. Right. And then we found out we were pregnant right after that.
Shout out Harper, right?
Harper. I was like, all right, what else you going to give us, God?
Went to Morocco with no belly.
Oh, with new business.
Left with a belly.
Shout out. So she's a Morocco baby? That's where it happened?
No.
That's not where it happened.
Okay.
That's where we found out.
That's when you found out.
Yeah.
But I still say Kendall, who's now 12.
Wow.
She's our middle baby. I said Kendall spoke Harper up because I remember
several times.
It was April of that year. I went to pick Kendall up from school, and her teacher said, "Oh, and congratulations!" And I said, "On what?" She says, "Kendall told me about the baby." This is like April of that year.
Oh God!
And up until then, we tried for years and just kind of gave up that I wasn't going to be able to have anymore. And so I felt bad afterward. Like, and I'm telling Mike, Kendall wants us to have another baby. She wants a sister or brother, and God said no. Right. So now it's June. We're in Morocco, and not only do I find out I'm pregnant, I'm 3.5 months pregnant. So
climbing the Atlas Mountains.
Climbing the Atlas Mountains.
Okay.
But listen to this. Look at the timing. So Kendall knew. They say children know. Kendall knew when you count back the months, I was already pregnant in April.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
And so doctor said no, God said yes.
Exactly.
Oh my God, don't do me like that this early with this little shirt on.
You know what, Willie?
Don't do me like that this early.
On my mind too, back to your question though, that came through my mind as I listen and just think as far as your question, the mindset of the man, any man that may be listening to this has to understand that, or whatever your situation is, your significant other is not your competition.
Right.
You understand? So no matter who is on top, don't ever look at it as a competitor. Yeah. You're one. You're trying to grow through this together. So because a lot of men and women, society has portrayed this picture that it always has to, if the man is not on top, y'all are not doing right. Exactly. So you'll have women that try to keep that from their friends or just in general. Oh yeah, he's doing amazing. Knowing he's not doing amazing, you're winning. You could say that, but that man has to be comfortable with it, and you have to be comfortable with it. Y'all are not in competition, and you're not trying to live up to society's way of living. You got to live for what works for you.
And I'll be honest, the insert, like I did that totally wrong. Like, I just had this vision. I'm like, we're going to move into a new city. You never have to work. Life is going to be this way. And I think I had these blinders on that I missed the opportunity to say, like, and of course I wasn't just tired of saying you can't do anything. Yeah. But it was more so like, I'm going to go out there and do it for us. And I think I missed the subtle signs of someone saying, hey, I want to do something too. And so like, I'm always challenging men, like, to open up your vision enough to let God do it differently. Like, be flexible so you don't get so bent out of shape. Right. Like later once it was over, it was like, I never really wanted to sit at home. You wanted kids. I didn't want that many kids. I'm happy that I have them, but that was really your thing. And that was kind of something like we can have real, vulnerable, honest conversations. So it's really, really dope for you to say, like, hey, it's both of us. Yeah. And whatever we have going on, because who's to say what happens to me next? Like, I might have to serve a vision of a woman who's going out there doing different things.
Exactly.
But also there comes a point where you have to, number one, stop being selfish.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't always shine. You can't always be the one winning if you want to have a fair and balanced and equally yoked relationship. And sometimes I'm going to have to take a few hits. Maybe I would have wanted to go on that trip. Maybe I would have wanted to accept that gig or that job, but it's not my turn. It's his turn.
Oh, hate to stop you, change the scenery and the energy, but you ain't been obedient. You know how I know? Because you ain't subscribed. You ain't left no comment. You ain't shared this with nobody. Do it right now. Now back to the show. Now. Do it. Good. Back to the show. Flat out.
And I have to, just as much as he gives me grace, when opportunities come and blessings come for me, I have to fall back and give him grace when it's his time to shine. It's his winning season.
Yeah.
You know, maybe last year was my winning season.
Yeah.
And so that's how we keep it together, is by also honoring each other in that way. I understand. I felt guilty during the times when I was off traveling and shooting. And remember, I had the baby and I had to take her in tow with me because I was breastfeeding and I'm on the road and I'm in,
she did the thing too. She's like,
I mean, but I literally, sometimes I'd, be off hosting an event or some big show. And if you see me, then you know that means he's home with the kids and he's taking an L. And to some folks on the outside looking in, it looked like, oh, well, Egypt's doing everything or she's got everything.
Stop it right there.
Can I finish my thought? I love you, though.
Keep that though, but it's not. Just for somebody, it's not an L.
It's not an L.
That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say, babe. It's like, thank you for letting me not finish my thought.
No,
so you
I
can
ain't
finish
getting
my
no
thought.
L though. Like I ain't taking like that, yo. It's from New York, son.
It's not an L. But what I'm saying is, to those on the outside looking in, and believe me, we've heard judgment or heard comments, but we don't let that invade what we got here, because we know the truth. Right. The truth is that he sacrificed a lot. For me to shine so that we could shine.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And in the times when it was his turn, I'm like, it's all you, babe. Go do it. I got the kids. I got everything. Go do it. And that's how it has to be. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Speaking of 51 Minds that did T.I. and Tiny's show, if you look at T.I. and Tiny's situation when they first started, when Tiny met T.I., Tiny was...
Yeah, she was getting it.
Escape. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And T.I. was selling mixtapes, trying to get on. She saw what he could be. Imagine if she was like, oh, this dude out here selling mixtapes. We ain't doing that. There'd be no T.I. For the most part, I mean, he would have made it eventually, but he got in faster through that avenue because they were like, nah, we won. Let's do this together. But you have those that'll go, this dude over here hitting on me selling mixtapes. We are not doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That mindset of we ain't doing this.
Yeah.
But now you got your T.I.
That's real. So you guys now have this show. You got this vision, you got this dream. It doesn't happen the first time. Just kind of fast forward in the story. Now you get this show. And I know with new shows, new responsibilities, you got to come up with some new borders. Because now y'all work together. Yep. You can't go talk to somebody else about your coworker because you got to go home with it. So how do you get, like, who are your safe spaces where somebody gets a chance to tell you no? Like, this is wrong. Like, what does accountability look like since you together 24 hours? Right. Who's your person and who's your person?
Our number one rule is what happens in this marriage stays in this marriage.
Right.
He is not, I don't have to worry about him going out to the nightclubs or going to the bar, talking to the boys and complaining about me. Because if he has a gripe with me, I know he's going to bring it home and we're going to talk about it and work through it together. He never has to worry about me speaking backhanded to him. If anything, I'm going to the mats for him. Yeah. So my friends are the ones that support. His friends are the ones that support our marriage. And if at any time it looks like things are on the rocks between us, those people pour into us to help keep us together and going stronger, not pulling. You don't need friends around you whose first answer is, girl, leave them. Or, look at all these women around you, bro, and you worried about your wife. You don't need that. Those aren't friends. That's temptation, right? And the devil will put them in your path as well. So we are very intentional about the people around us, number one.
I mean, she joked about it earlier before we got in here, but if it's not us, it's God. You know, we will sit down and pray together, or we'll pray apart and make it happen. But to really build on what she said as far as not allowing other outside sources to be your source, because you don't know what they're going to do with that. For instance, let's just say we're having a bad week and I go say something I shouldn't have said to a friend, and they carry that with them every time they see her. So now their energy is like, she did homie wrong that week. And they carry with it every time you see it. But now y'all great, and we done got over it. So you got to be careful with it. You know, when you get married, there's 3 families formed. Her family, your family, and now the union that you created. That's the 3rd family. So you want to keep that family strong. Everybody else, you know, they find out however they find out, if they even find out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because once you start letting other entities in, it starts to weaken the whole foundation.
Is counseling and therapy a thing for you guys, or you guys just kind of do it on your own?
So
Yeah, we don't have a problem with it. But go ahead. I know where you're going with
Okay,
it. Let it loose.
I'm just gonna tell the truth.
Yeah, do it.
So we did hit a rough patch.
Mhm.
What was that, about 8 years ago? Maybe it's not 9 years ago. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Maybe even, okay. So it was about 9 years ago, and Willie, we didn't know if we were going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
We were both talking about divorce, and that was something that, you know, even before we walked down the aisle, we said, when I get married, there is no such thing as divorce.
Right.
I'm going to do it one time, and we're going to, whatever's wrong, we fix it. But this particular time, we were both on the out so bad that we felt we needed somebody else.
Yeah.
And we didn't go to church. We did at that time. We didn't, because we had relocated here to Atlanta. We hadn't found a church home. We hadn't built our tribe yet.
Right.
It was literally just him and me. And we were exhausted and tired.
Yeah.
So as a last recourse, we decided to go to this marriage counselor.
Okay.
And she wasn't too far from here, was she?
You can't just go to every marriage counselor. FYI.
You have to be careful. Number one, are you married? Oh, you're divorced? Oh, then no, thank you. There's nothing that you can offer me, you know?
Oh, wow.
But we go to this marriage counselor and
Y'all start fighting her. No, I'm just playing. Did you don't say nothing
here's
about
what
him?
she says. I'm pouring out. He's pouring out. I'm pouring. He's pouring. And at the end, she goes, you guys have absolutely no business together. And we look at each other.
We
and we're
wasn't
like,
mad at each other no
excuse
more.
my language. We're like, and we both stood up. We're like, you're no good at your job. Is that what you have to say after all this time? We paid you for that? That's crazy. You love me, babe? Yes. You love me, babe? Yes. Come on, let's go. And in the elevator, we cracked up all the way down. And when we got out to the street, he was like, babe, I'm not leaving you. I said, I'm not leaving you either. We're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
You know what it is about? So folks don't know how to communicate or be open with one another or how to argue without, throwing daggers at each other. So that's what the counseling's all about. But if you get the wrong one, they'll be collecting those daggers and throwing them back at you in the wrong way. So when you go through this counseling or you just have this avenue or this place to open up in, you realize, for instance, not that this is the case to do, but you notice that some people, after one person gets caught cheating and they sit down and they have that all out, now since I'm caught, I'm going to say everything. And then all of a sudden they're in the best relationship they ever had because that platform allowed them to say, I don't like how big your feet are, or I don't like this, that they would never say because they don't want to hurt the person, but now they're letting it all out. And now that both parties have said everything, it's like, nothing can stop us now because I can say anything I want to say to you and you can say anything you want to say to me. And once that happens, relationships become so strong, but people are so scared to do that part.
Yeah.
So that's where the counseling comes in. But again, you got to have the right counselor. So if you don't know how to do it, listen, there's nothing taboo about that counseling. We make it taboo. Go ahead and go do it. I say do it, do it, do it.
So has anything changed in the relationship? Has the relationship got stronger now that it's a lot more? You guys were already working together on the outside with shows and, without the shows, like building real estate and changing houses. And, Mike, it's going to keep it. I can't do nothing with my hands. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to call Mike. Hey, Mike, I think I called Mike one time. And I think he laughed. I was like, man, I need to change the light bulb. So do I screw to the left or do I screw to the, man, you serious? You know what I mean? Like, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But now you guys are now like in this space now where it's like really relationship goals. Like I look under the stuff because I'm doing my research. It's like everything is all goals. Do you feel like the outside pressure now to like keep it super duper tight? And how do you guys connect to make sure that you keep the spark going consistently outside of work? Like, is it like consistent date nights? Like, what is that like?
He owes me a few dates right now. It's been kind of crazy because we're just in this build phase. But
it's been crazy.
The build phase. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so when we're working, every now and again, he'll pull me in the closet. He'll pull me in the pantry.
Let's go,
like,
Ski.
Go meet me in the car.
Let's go.
I got 20 minutes.
Yes, Come on.
You got to keep it sexy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to still be his girlfriend.
Yes.
There's a difference. You can be married to somebody and y'all feel like roommates.
Yep.
Or you're married to someone and y'all feel like girlfriend and boyfriend. And so we do whatever we can do to keep it sexy now.
Yeah.
It's going to be sexy.
Yeah.
And then, like when I need a timeout, and what I mean by timeout is, Mike, I'm tired. I love you, but I'm tired of you.
Right.
I need to go hang out with my girls. I'm going on a me trip or something, or vice versa.
Right.
We have to honor that. Everything can't always be together.
It's about keeping that likability going, right?
Likability.
The I like you going. And that's because, you know, one of the things of people overlook in relationships, I say it all the time, is fun and like. I don't care how much money you got, how many tangible items you got, how big your house is. If you walk in that house every day, you like, man, I don't like this person. I love them to death, but I don't like this person. You're like, this ain't fun.
This ain't fun.
And they keep going back and forth. This ain't fun. I don't like them. I don't like them because I ain't having no fun. Because we ain't having no fun, I don't like you. And now you like, dang, again, I love you, but I'm not in love with you because I don't like you. I ain't having fun with you, right? Now, it's those two simple words. So our goal is to make sure the likability is there. Keep it spontaneous, keep it sexy. You know what I mean? That's one of our goals. It's the date days for us because the nights are hard. You know, because the babysitters are not there as we need. I mean, and so here's the thing. We have an amazing tribe, Willie, an amazing tribe to watch the kids and make sure we do this with peace of mind. However, because we don't want to take advantage of them, we got to say, listen, we can't have the kids over there this weekend. So what we going to do this weekend? We got the kids. So
there's something that I really want to say because I know you have a lot of women watching your show. And this is just truth. Love me or hate me, I'm going to say what it is. I think that we have to stop looking for the right man and recognize that God may still be molding him for you, and don't rush. Don't rush. Wait on him. Because I remember being, mind you, Mike and I didn't get married till I was 35.
I remember you told me that.
Was it 34 or 35? But I remember kissing a lot of frogs and trying to...
Oh, God.
and not near one of them turned into a prince.
Turned into no damn prince.
And I was doing the stiletto hustle, working in New York City, and what they get them, girl. You know, you got your stilettos on, and you're out in the nightclubs looking for this guy and looking for that, and coming up empty. So while my bank account was full, my spirit was void, and I would be walking these red carpets and showing off and getting the pictures and being flirted with, and go home and cry myself to sleep at night because I had not found my soulmate. And I do believe in the term soulmate.
Wow.
I had a conversation with God. And I said, I know that there's a lesson and a blessing in this. I don't know what it is, but that last dude you put in my life almost took me out. And I heard his voice of like, I didn't do that. You did that. I literally heard him like, you didn't wait on me. I didn't put that man in your life. You did that because you didn't wait on me. And at that time, I was like, woo, I felt that. I heard that. I don't know.
No, I got you.
But I know that was you, God. All right, so I submit. I give up. I'm not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole anymore. I'm not trying to make these dudes work anymore. I don't even care how a guy looks. He's got to treat me right. He's got to be God loving, not God fearing, but God loving. And then I just started building him in my head. And then it went from being in my head to cutting him out on a vision board. And I put all the qualities, literally, that I wanted. I created the vision board of this man. Wow. I had no idea he was already in my life. He was already in my life. He was flipping my houses, right, in Newark, New Jersey. I didn't see him because, and this is where I hit you, ladies, we're looking for the basketball player. We're looking for the guy driving a nice car. We're looking for the guy that on paper looks like he would be the good husband versus seeing a man for his heart, for his spirit, for his qualities that he truly possesses. The stuff that if money is gone tomorrow, you can't take that from him because that's the stuff he's made of. So God truly molded him for me, and he put him in plain sight. But it wasn't until I asked God, what will you have me do? Who do you want me to be with? I submit that he literally took the blinders off me so I could see that he was there all along. Literally the man I had built on my board. So with that said, this has got to work because God did it.
Man, listen, let me tell you something. That part probably gonna go viral because I just felt that in my heart. You know, when I look at you two and I see all the stuff that you do collectively, I would be remiss if I don't talk about this beautiful blended family that you guys were able to create and work with. You know, when you have a woman, you know, like Egypt, who is a strong, deep personality, she's a driver, she has a strong opinion, and she's gonna stand on it. And you know, you're a New York guy too. I always say, like, you know, DJ for Def, you know, although the picture back then was, you know, Egypt is here but death is here. Like I've been in intimate settings where it's like, no, he's still like a super dude. Like he's a man. He's no pushover. Like, what was it like blending the family and kind of building the bridge and at least trying to, like, when choosing, like, you had another thought process and just like, I got me a girl. It's like, can she be a mom? Right. Like as well. Like, what was that thought process?
Oh no, I'm big on that, bro. Yeah. That was one of my major concerns, you know, with my past relationship. I said, when that was over, I said I wasn't really even looking to date anyone. One, because of my daughter, right? Because it had to be right. I know some people may say, you know, this is going to come between your relationships or it's going to stop you. I'm like, then I'll never date. Because if you can't accept what comes with me, then there's no need to be. Because I never wanted to get into another relationship and have to explain, hey, I just got out of this relationship. I'm rebuilding my credit. I'm redoing this. And I was like, I don't want to deal with that. So until I'm right, I'm not dating anyone. You know, I was not looking at all. And inevitably, this happened, divine intervention, like literally. So as far as the blending, when we finally get to know each other more, and I got to know her spirit and just listen to her and understand that this is what she did, limelight wise, but this is not who she is. She's a totally different person. I said, this is definitely going to make more sense than anything. And when she met my daughter for the first time, I was like, oh, signed, sealed, delivered. Slam dunk
fell in
right
love. I didn't know if I loved him more or her more. I was like, hi, little girl. I'm in love with you. You're beautiful. Now, I didn't ever see myself as a mother. And that's the reason I say that. All my friends that had kids when they were 18 and 19, my sister had her daughter 19. I'm like 30 something. I was like, it's just not going to happen for me then, I guess. Right. It's amazing how when the right person comes into your life, they change your entire perspective. The entire world can change just like that. So not only did I become an instant mom to Simone, our baby, who, by the way, she graduated this past year from college, magna cum laude. She's working in New York in the fashion industry. Insanity. But now we have 3 girls. You could have never told me back then.
I just got to chill. Like, I got one girl and I'm
not just a mother, but a mama.
You're a mama.
Mama. But I remember the day we went on a date, just like on an off chance. Well, okay. You know, there's something here. He asked me on a date. We're going to date. And I was jaded. He was, I don't know what you were at that point, but something was off. And we go and sit down at the restaurant, remember? And he goes, all right, I'm going to just say this. And he sits back at the chair and he's like, well, I don't know what's happening here, but I got to be honest with you. And I said, what? He goes, I got divorced, a year and a half ago. He says, I have a small child. I'm in an apprenticeship program. My credit's bad. My money's funny. And I don't know what you want to do with that, but I just got to put it out there. He said, because
I had the Scooby-Doo van.
And they had a Scooby-Doo van that had tape on the door. Had tape on the door.
Man said, hold up, don't go past that. Let's go and get this out the way. First and foremost, my credit ain't right. I just got out of a relationship. I got a small baby. I'm not wasting no time. King Kong balls.
Yeah.
That's King Kong. What was wild, though, is because it was the complete opposite of anything I could have imagined for myself, right? I'm like, I don't want no baby mama drama. You just got out of a marriage. That means you're not ready for marriage. Again, your money is funny. Meanwhile, I'm on billboards in New York City, right?
Yes, right.
And he's like, my credit's bad. I'm like, but how? All you got to do is open a credit card and your credit start going up. So it was like, I don't even you remember how awkward that moment was?
So wait, no, let's not go past it. What did you say?
Date.
Did you pause?
Well, this
so you
is
got
what
a good day going on.
It was an amazing date. That's what was crazy, was at the end of the date.
Wait, time out. Why did you tell? It's a great date. That's the real question, ain't it, KD? Ain't that where I'm supposed to go? Why did you tell? Because you had so much fun. You was like,
it ain't have nothing to do with fun. It was about, we either gonna have this accepted or not. I didn't want to wait. I told you, I didn't want to date anymore. Listen, I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to be belittled. I didn't want you saying, oh, this is not going to work. And the other half of it is, because before our date, you got to remember, well, you can't remember. Before our date, we had met on several different incidents where it was 6-month interviews to where we just kept meeting each other. So for
Until
me,
you started working on the properties, and then
right. So for me, the first day I ever met her, way before this date, I was like, that's my wife. So because I knew that was my wife, I was like, I need to let you know this now.
Oh, so you knew in your heart.
Yeah.
He
So
said
we can
that
get
to me,
this out the way because I know where this is headed.
So Willie, your question
that kind of
was,
hit my heart. Go ahead.
your question was, what did I say?
Yeah, what did you say when you get to this?
Because I was broken. When he said it, I was like, because I was so hopeful, right? Mind you, I'd had my conversation with God, and there he was, and he checked all the boxes, and we had an amazing date, and I was feeling all warm and fuzzy inside, ready to call my mama. And he hits me with this, and I was like, you gotta be kidding, right? But I couldn't hurt him. Right in that moment, I knew that I held his heart in my hands, and I didn't want to break it. I didn't want to break him. And so I said to him, I was like, I value you. Even if we're not going to be together in that way, I still want to be friends with you. And I thought I had said the right thing. I didn't. I gave him the friend conversation. That's what he said. He's like, oh, then you just want to be my friend?
More Love You More podcast after this.
Oh, hey, what's up? So YouTube here, do me a favor, put in the comments, ladies only, be honest. Can you date a man who is on the come up and you done already came up? Stone, Egypt said that she still accepted him, but Mike said, I'm recently divorced. I don't have no big time job. I'm in the Scooby-Doo van and I got a small child. Now what you want to do? She stuck around. Ladies in the comments, be honest. Could you stick around if a man was that honest? Leave it in the comments. Now back to the show.
He had said the right thing. I didn't. I gave him the friend conversation. That's what he said. He's like, oh, then you just want to be my friend? Just want to be my friend. But I couldn't just be friends with him. In that moment, there was just something magical that I never felt with anybody else. And because he was honest, because he was truthful, every waking minute of every day after that, I thought about him.
Yeah.
We talked nights on end. He went away to Germany to work for a couple months, right?
Yeah.
He went to Germany, and I was like sick waiting for him. So when he got back from Germany, he came to visit me. Mind you, we hadn't seen each other in between, but all I thought about was him. Of just like, I never had a man be so raw and so honest and so vulnerable with me. I had everything I needed. I don't need anything from you but love and honesty.
Right.
That's truly all I need.
That's
it's
what
love
he gave.
and honesty.
Right.
When he got back, it was on. Was it on? It was on. He knocked on my door. I was like, come here. Come here.
That was the realest ever.
Yeah.
So then we worked together, got his credit score up. His was higher than mine. He had an 800 or something credit score.
Yeah.
Fell in love with his daughter. We dealt with whatever came with having an ex and a baby mama. I'm not going to say there was no drama. There definitely was, but we dealt with it together in a very mature way.
Yeah.
And then used his skills and my skills to create what you see now.
Right.
That's where it all started.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, I just want to say that part right there, that story right there, if I ain't had this little makeup they put on, that one almost broke me down though. And let me tell you why. Because I understand how hard it is for a man to be vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm literally in that state right now.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I'm rebuilding my life. Of course, my credit score, you know, my daddy, he old. I was adopted. So he was like, hell no, I don't give a damn what happened. You keep that credit where you supposed to have it. I don't give a damn. You got to walk on them same shoes. You pay them bills. You know, that's my daddy.
Yeah.
So credit score is still good, but just rebuilding my life.
Yeah.
And that spoke to my heart so much because we live in this social media age where everything has to be big and you know, people are comparing themselves.
Yeah.
And so for you to just set an example to say, we having a great date, but let's just go ahead and get this out the way.
Yeah.
Hey, this is where I'm at with my life. Take me or leave me because I don't want to waste no more time. Like, I'm into you. And I think a lot of people are going to be blessed by it on the other side of this camera.
Yeah.
To know that it's okay to be honest and for you to be a woman to say, yeah, well, I'm still going to consider. Like, it alleviates all fear. The Bible declares that, you know, real love, true love cast out all of the fear.
Yes.
That you won't be fearful of anything that has to do with a person.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
You know, for me as a man, Willie, you know, since a kid, I felt like I've always had it all. So when it came to this entertainment stuff, this industry stuff, you know, I've been DJing since I was 10 years old, traveling the world. Right, I've seen some amazing things because of two turntables, but at the same time, you know, outsiders looking in, all they see is the high points. They don't realize, okay, yeah, he just was in Dubai. But then I came from Dubai and I was on a construction site at 6 a.m. Monday. In Dubai on the weekend, on a construction site, Monday in the weekend, you feel what I'm saying? So between that and then traveling and touring and doing all this stuff, I've seen some amazing things. So I've been blessed to see exactly what God has for me, to humble me enough to know that I don't care what anybody else thinks because what's for me is already written. So whatever you think, whatever you want to say, it didn't matter. That's what made it so easy when it came to this situation, as far as people, you know, on top of the game, radio show worldwide. Yeah. I'm like, I didn't care what nobody thought.
But his family didn't like me. And my folks didn't like him. At first, you need to know that we've been through some things, okay? This is 19 years. We've been through some things.
Did they like the other girl?
His family, initially, mind you.
They didn't like her either?
No, but here's the thing, right? When there's a child involved, you're always going to have, even if you don't really care for the other person, there's going to be some level of allegiance to the other person because that's where your grandbaby is or that's where your grandniece is, right? Mm-hmm. And who is this woman? We don't know how long she's going to be around, so I'm sticking over here type of thing. Yeah. But also, we came from, and it's funny, he says this, he says his family was good times and mine was the Cosbys. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. We were Timberlands and they were penny loafers.
And that's not true, okay? But he says that all the time. We did come from a different lifestyle. Yeah. All right. And so when I'll never forget, he took me to his family reunion. Mind you, he told me, we're going on a date. I just want you to meet a few of my family members.
It was a regular barbecue, actually.
We show up to Eisenhower Park in Long Island, and the entire park was his family.
For the most part,
his mom's one of 13. She was one of 11. Jeez. She was one. Everybody had like 11, 12 kids. Yeah. And that is where I meet the family. So I was like the topic of conversation. This old yellow girl over here.
Oh, no. They know that.
I'm playing. They know I can laugh with them now. Me and his mom are like this now. Me and his aunties are like this. But it obviously took some work. Mm-hmm. My friends didn't know if they could trust him and didn't know, like, all right, he just picked you up in a van with a taped up door and you had to get in on the driver's side and slide over, right? This is true. Mm-hmm. This is not made up. This is true. So,
and you on billboards in New York.
Not just on billboards, like I am a wealth educator. Mm-hmm. And the man that I'm talking to them about comes to pick me up, and I'm not ashamed at all because I see the man. I don't care what he's driving. I've been in every car. I've owned every car that you could say I should be riding in. That it has never filled my cup. So he comes to pick me up, and my girlfriend's like, and then the word is he's using her then, right? The word is he's using you and he's trying to drain you. It's just because who you are. So we have dealt with this noise on both sides. Mm-hmm. Those very same people now, very same people are like, you got so lucky, Egypt. How'd you find a man like Mike? Like you worked with him and he worked with you and y'all built together and like they don't make them like Mike. Those very same people, right?
You just smile at him at the cookout. How you doing? God bless you. Side eye.
As he drives in his many vehicles.
It's like,
giving out hugs.
And then it's the folks who, obviously gave me a hard way to go early on, eventually got to see me for who I am. Because when you consistently show up, forget what people think you are. When you show them who you are and you're consistent and you're there, no matter what problem y'all got with me, I ain't leaving. Y'all not running me off. Then they have no choice but to fall in love with you.
I want to go back to something, and I know I got to land the plane, but I want to talk about, if you're okay with it, of course, this ain't like for clickbait. I just think it'll be special for people. Could you talk a little bit about your fertility journey and that trying, and then finally the Lord blesses, and now we have a child in the middle age and how that thing worked out for you?
Yeah, I mean... so I'm just going to throw it all out there.
It's already on the table.
I waited very long to get married because I waited on him. And we had Kendall, not even 2 years into our marriage. Right. And I wanted another baby. He obviously had 2 at that point. So he's like, if you want it, I want it. I wanted another baby very bad. We tried for 7 years. Wow. And went to a fertility specialist. At the end of the day, I was getting older and my eggs just weren't cooperating. My eggs were spoiled.
She said it, I didn't. Don't get mad at me.
They were fried and died, baby. So, I just had to accept that, you know what, I got my one then. And I got my two, actually. I got my bonus baby. And I got to, at some point, be okay with that. But I'll be honest with you, he'll tell you I would cry often because I just knew, I felt like I had missed an opportunity. Yeah. And so you got to be careful who you let speak over you too. I'd gone to this event and a psychic medium was there. And she said, she kept saying to me that the spirit of a little girl kept trying to come to me. And I kept having miscarriages, right? But she kept saying that the spirit of a little girl kept trying to come to me and through me and that she was going to come back. Right. I was like, all right, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Because I was so frustrated about it all. And I had, had two miscarriages at that point. And so I was very depressed. Just like, it's not fair. And I think a lot of women might feel this way. Like, do I choose my career or do I choose family? Should I have my kids early or am I going to regret it later? Or if I wait and I build my career and I go to school, then am I still going to be able to have kids? And I was stuck all in the middle of that. We talked about adoption and that was a very real, and I know you were adopted, right? That was a very real thing for me at that point because I just wanted this other child so bad. And especially after that psychic planted that daggone seed, I couldn't stop thinking about it. He was very honest with me one day and said, listen, I know this is important to you, but I got to tell you what my apprehensions are. I love my children, my girls, and I'm afraid that there's a chance that if we adopt another child, I'm not going to be able to love them the way that I love my girls. And that's set in with me that this was really a solo journey that
HonestMike.com. That's your name. HonestMike.com.
It was a solo journey that if I kept going on this adoption thing that really, he didn't want it like I wanted it. So we just settled in, decided to take a trip to Morocco, the one we started talking about at the very beginning. And this was just a reset for our marriage, but it was also me accepting. This was me accepting that it's just not in the cards for me. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be a dynamic auntie. Right. Wow. A lot of little nieces and nephews. And on that trip, I was already 3.5 months pregnant. Isn't that something? Because again, the anxiety, all the pressure I think I put on myself, not believing in God's word, listening to everybody else, but not believing in God's promise for me.
You also changed your eating habits too.
I did. I went vegan for like a year. And cleansed my whole body. Got rid of fibroids. Remember? It was like, oh my God, going vegan did that. So, but really, it was also a mindset shift of just not focusing on it so much and surrendering yet again. Remember, I talked about even at that point where I had the conversation with God about a husband. I just surrendered and I submitted to his will. Whatever it is that you have called for me, what you want from me, just use me. Me. And I got a husband that first time. The next time I got a baby. Come
on, man.
Got a baby. I was up in that doctor's office and they called it a geriatric pregnancy. I said, call it what you want. This baby is coming.
And now Harper's here.
And Harper's here.
She's going to be 5 next week.
She is a blessing.
Listen, I had a baby girl late. And I just, and I say this like, when I was going through, I was just watching you guys and I was like, man, I feel like such a failure. Like I want to, do this. And I realized that failure wasn't a person. It was just an incident. And so, you get an opportunity to dust yourself off and do better next time. And that's really the goal. And so even with this show, like it's doing so well because I'm actually a student and my heart posture is to learn. My heart posture is like, okay, that's good. Honesty. So what I took away from is that, okay, got that. And then you have to do that. And it's like differently because, going to therapy and counseling and doing all of that stuff, and really healing yourself, you really become a different person.
Yes.
Like I struggled through codependency and I wanted to be seen. Like I went out this week because I've had my head down so much doing the show, doing radio, speaking on stages, doing whatever. And I just go home. I got a really tight schedule to do what you do. And I went out and I walked out and everybody's like, hey, how you doing? I got back on the phone with my mom. I said, Mom, I guess it's working. Because when you want it, it's like, I want it. It never happens. And then you just like, I don't give a damn what happened. I'm just going to do what I think I'm purposed to do and watching it happen. And I'm like, okay, God, this is good.
Right.
So I appreciate you allowing me to be the student today and learning from two phenomenal people.
Man, listen, you ain't got nothing but elevation and blessings headed your way, brother. Ever since the first day we met, I was like, there's something on this brother, you know, and it's true. It's just genuine. There's nothing fake about it at all. And even when you're moving through the crowds and moving through places, and I see, I'm like, people that touch you or you touch them, it just
You're just good.
goes on.
You're
One of the things I say, be the energy you seek to exist, and that's what you do all the time. So it's just gonna keep elevating, bro.
But it was hopefully you didn't get just be honest out of that. Because to me, my big theme is surrender. You know, submission.
That's surrender too. Yeah.
That it's beyond us. It really is.
Yeah, I definitely got that surrender. It's just I have a hard time with that level of honesty because of the codependency that I've now overcome. Yeah. So I would have said, you know, I care about you, and listen, I don't want you to leave. So my credit kind of on a, you know what I'm saying, it's on there. You know, I got a few dollars. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's going to be okay. And and I won't let you get an opportunity to get it out. So you're going to feel so good about it.
And then you'll say, but I told you. Remember I told you.
January 28th, 7 o'clock, you was in all black. You remember I told you.
Right.
But you really didn't take nothing. And I just think that's good. And then, of course, grabbing that surrender is so necessary. I'm so off script, guys. I'm so sorry. Let me put a ball in this thing because I know they looking at me like, Willie, you're really in the conversation. Here's the thing. I'm so thankful for this conversation because I know it helped you as well. You know, many times in our life, we really, really want our own way. And we sing these songs, especially like my church people, my pseudo-sophisticated, super shouting Christians. We sing William Murphy, I give myself away. And then life hits. And you like, I'll take myself back, right? Like you like, I just want my own way. But I'm learning now, listening to these different amazing stories, that there's always an opportunity to watch God work and become a fan of God by his work. But if you're holding on so tight to what you want versus where you are, then you may miss the opportunity to have your hands open to receive what God has for you. I mean, I sat there and listened to Egypt say, I didn't write a face or attributes of tall, dark, and handsome. I wrote character, integrity, you know, attributes that I would need for what I feel like God is calling me to do. And then I heard a man that said, I mean, from about the second time I seen her, I was like, dang, this is my wife. I got to be honest with her. Like in the affirmative, like I know this is what I'm going to do. And it gave him the courage to say, hey, this is where I am, but I'm not going to be here forever. And so as I make this little right turn just to my fellas, ladies, you can bring them on in. Brother, you are not what you do. You're not. You can have a woman who loves you for who you are. But here's the thing, you have to love yourself for who you are as well. And that takes you to be honest. And I know that's hard when we live in a world where there's so many people with a highlight reel. Everybody has a new car. Everybody's a millionaire. And you may be at your wit's end. Just hold on. Don't allow yourself to go down a rabbit hole when you have a woman who loves you not for what you do, but for who you are. Because if you begin to see who you are, the king in you is going to arise. And if you have a woman speaking to the king in you, sometimes you got to believe what she sees so you can believe it for yourself. It's just a challenge today, fellas. And here's the thing, I've been there. I know what it's like to look at that bank account and it ain't popping like you thought it was gonna be popping. I know what it looks like to sit around and feel so depressed and you try to drink it away, sex it away, and even just hang out with the boys so time can just dwindle away. I know what it's like to try to peel yourself out of the bed. But there's a savior out there who loves you not because you're so good, but because he's so good. Lean on him and trust what God put on the inside of you, and I believe your best days are ahead of you, champ. Love you, ladies. Hey, family, do me a favor. Can you subscribe to this channel? And if any of this information was good for you, share it with somebody else. Share the wealth. That's what I want you to do. And here's the thing. Of course, we want hits. Of course, we want people to watch. That's all good. But I believe that we're bringing valuable content that can be life-changing for you. Testimonies are great when you get an opportunity to drop the fourth wall and experience people like you've never experienced them. I believe you experienced Egypt and Mike in a way that you've never experienced them today. So share it with somebody that you think it will help. All right? To all my Patreons, you already know what it is, shouty. Love you more. Flat out.
Love you more, love you more.